The way that prisons are set up in our society, I would argue that they do not work. They do not make us safer. The instinct is to just take that person, the source of that harm, the source of that issue, and then just throw them away. Put them in a cage and throw away the key.
Yep.
That doesn't address the reason why that harm was created in the first place.
Sure,
a lot of times,
people
who create trauma for others are those who themselves went through trauma earlier in their own lives.
So lock them up so they can't do it again.
I bring all of this up to say that, again, like when we talk about policing, I don't think the system actually makes us safer. I think what it does is it just removes problems out of view.
You think there won't be policing in that neighborhood? You think vacuums don't get filled? It's going to be a warlord, dummy. Speaking good, clean fun, let's go to unclean. Zohran Mamdani.
Hey.
We are not the same, the right and the left.
No.
And this is something that a lot of, not only liberals, but a lot of libertarians, they'd always talk about the prison industrial complex. I think we're kind of at the point now where we've lived the experiment and we've seen the results. For example, we've gone the other way from the prison industrial complex where we've just done catch and release. Okay, people don't like it. We've lived through the, hey, if we just throw enough money at the continent of Africa and they're more poor than the 80s. We've lived through the LGBTQ, AIP, same-sex marriage, and people, you know what? I don't think we're better off. It seems, though, like the left and Zohran Mamdani, they're still stuck in those old talking points. We're not the same. Hear his thoughts about how prisons kind of shouldn't be a thing.
The way that prisons are set up in our society, I would argue that they do not work. They do not make us safer. The instinct is to just take that person, the source of that harm, the source of that issue, and then just throw them away. Put them in a cage and throw away the key.
Yep.
That doesn't address the reason why that harm was created in the first place.
Sure,
a lot of times,
people
who create trauma for others are those who themselves went through trauma earlier in their own lives.
So lock them up so they can't do it again.
I bring all of this up to say that, again, like when we talk about policing, I don't think the system actually makes us safer. I think what it does is it just removes problems out of view.
And here's the thing. We have a fundamentally different worldview, and I'll get to that, but we've tried their way. It was a really good talking point. The military-industrial complex, and people are going, oh my, they're making money off of jailing black people. Okay, but is there another facet where a certain segment of the population commit far more violent crimes? And what is the responsibility of government? Is it to protect the law-abiding citizens from those who break the law? And I'll just tell you, I'm okay at this point where I don't really host debates. I want people to know where we stand. There are some people with whom I could sit across from Mamdani. We're never going to find common ground. At the end of the day, it's okay. So you believe that we should be softer on crime and that people who commit crimes actually, it's the symptom of society. Therefore, we should change society. I believe that we need a deterrence. I believe that as it relates to foreign policy. I'm a non-interventionist. I'm not an isolationist. I believe that punishment should be intensely uncomfortable for those who harm their fellow citizens, for those who've decided to break the law. I believe they need to be separated, and I believe it needs to be severe enough that it acts as a deterrent. We can't fix all the root causes as to why someone might commit a crime. It doesn't work. The war on poverty hasn't worked. And if you look at demographics, you notice that not all poor people, depending on their demographic, commit violent crimes at the same rate. You're never going to nerf the entire world.
No.
So, should violent prisoners be behind bars, and should it be uncomfortable? Is New York better off with the soft on crime approach? Should we apply that to the country, or should crime be punished severely? Comment. That's just my worldview.
Yeah. Absolutely. And listen, he's also very illogical in that statement. He's like, I think what we've done is we've actually it doesn't make us safer. It just removes the problem. And in his statement, it removes the problem.
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly right. I'm not safer necessarily as a society just because of one, but I'm safer from that guy.
Yeah.
Or that girl.
Yes.
Specifically, it's not just out of sight. It's keeping the problem away from people that could be harmed. You're an idiot,
Well, not
Zohran.
only that, if you just let's walk this through. And this is why Gen Z men are leaving the left. Okay, let's walk through this. All right, catch and release, cashless bail, IOU policy. People have seen what happened with Zarutska there in North Carolina.
Yeah.
People have seen what has happened across the country. We've seen the crime rates. And then you're going to ask some white Gen Z kid who isn't even in the workforce yet, you're going to ask him, someone who's never owned slaves, whose forefathers have never owned slaves, to foot the bill for people today, even though one of his forefathers spilled his blood, and died to free slaves. Right. So now you're going to foot the bill because we have to right these historical wrongs. Make the case. Why? Because his black neighbors are such model citizens that he owes them something? The left wants us to be divided. And here's the thing. People will say that we're dividing or being racist by addressing the reality. The left wants to divide and conquer by lying about the world. They're fracturing this country by telling young white people that they should pay for the crimes of others, really by the original sin of their white skin.
And he's lying about how the prisons work.
Yeah.
He says, "Oh, we just our instinct is to throw them in a cage and throw away the key." To who are we doing that?
Right.
Murderers?
Right.
Some murderers? Mm-hmm. Some murderers get out.
Yes.
We don't do it to rapists, certainly. We certainly don't do it to child predators. We don't do it to thieves. We don't even put some thieves in jail for any time at all. We don't throw away the key ever. We keep the key in our pocket. We let them out immediately, and they go kill a lady on a bus.
Right. Exactly right. And then they go, well, yeah, but really, the real criminals are Wall Street. Hey, I agree with you, but you want to lock them up for longer than someone who commits a violent assault and puts someone in a coma? That's just a difference in worldview. I think everyone should answer for their crimes. I think violent crimes are a different level because it's indicative of a different kind of person. That's my point of view. But Mamdani is the poster child for Democratic Socialists of America. Here are some of their demands. Click the link for references. This is directly from their site. Defund the police by rejecting any expansion to police budgets or scope of enforcement while cutting budgets annually towards zero.
Wow.
So they want zero police at some point?
They want the budgets to be zero? Yeah, just send in the social workers. They had some tough breaks.
So crime without consequence.
Yep. End the criminalization of working class survival. Okay.
What does that mean? Stealing?
Yeah, exactly. You mean it's survival. The people who, we just showed you the montage yesterday, threatening to beat shopkeepers up over the SNAP benefits lapsing right now during the shutdown. Yeah, because that shopkeeper, that local grocer, that bodega owner, they should pay for the fact that this person has been not gainfully employed for 10 years and thinks that they shouldn't pay for their Fanta. They also want freedom for all incarcerated people. You know, for people who say things are really nuanced, all incarcerated people?
You sure about that?
Traffickers, rapists, murderers.
All of them.
Jeffrey Dahmer? I mean, Bundy? Like, it's just so
I bet
silly.
you they wouldn't want to give Trump freedom, though.
No.
If he was convicted of 34 felonies of falsifying a document,
right,
that you got to throw away the key.
Yeah, for
lock him up in the hole.
Yeah, for trying to pay less on property taxes while he paid the bank back with interest, and they'd like to do another loan. No. But the people who commit violent crimes and masturbate on you on the subway, they should be let out because you know what? They probably had a dad who didn't hug them enough. Demilitarize the police and colonial policing of our cities and neighborhoods. Well, that puts an end to Pilgrim Patrol. Yeah, that's just, I mean, you know, I get they have a point there.
Colonial policing.
Hey, what do you think happens? Colonial policing. You mean policing? I don't know if you know this. And also,
right, yeah.
That's intensely racist. You know who has it toughest in a lot of these cities? Black cops. Yeah. You know that? In Detroit, in the Detroit riots, black cops had to go home in unmarked cars because they had a target on them. But let's say you remove all policing because it's something colonialism. Okay. You think there won't be policing in that neighborhood? You think vacuums don't get filled? It's going to be a warlord, dummy. Just look, I'll give you, of course you'll say, well, maybe it's not like Africa. You can't point to Coney. You can't point to the tribal warring. Okay, what's the closest example we have? In other words, this little experiment existed for a very short period of time.
Seattle?
There you go. There you go. In Seattle, and you ended up with Raz Simone, a warlord, handing out AR-15s to minors. Someone's going to take control. They also want freedom of working class self-organization and democratic political action. Great. Do it. And then, however it works out, we don't have to subsidize it. Oh, that's right. We can't do that either. Invest in community self-governance and care, not cops. Okay.
What?
So you want a blank check to run the neighborhoods like Chaz. All right.
You kind of want to return to the Wild West. Like, you're going to have a bunch of white guys out there with guns protecting their families and other black guys, Hispanic guys, everybody. And they're not going to be too concerned about Miranda rights or getting it right. They're going to be concerned about making sure a threat is stopped. You think that's better?
Yeah, well, you know what?
I mean, more realistically, you're going to see things like a white guy walking through the wrong neighborhood and then the call to prayer is played because nobody's stopping that. And you don't stop, so you get beat up.
Yes. Yeah. You know what else?
Because you're disrespecting Islam.
Right. And
Or a guy makes a caricature.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And all of a sudden, he's hauled off and thrown off the Brooklyn Bridge.
Take this and add open borders. Do we have any examples of that, Aurora? Yeah, you don't think that cartels are going to see an opportunity? Yeah, open borders, no cops, and self-governance. You guys know how might is right turns out, right? You guys understand that? Because that's kind of what we see now, only in some kind of a controlled or organized fashion where you have armed police to ensure that you don't just have lawless citizens with the most amount of might. Keep in mind, too, this is very important because this is top down. This is not just someone has an opinion. 53%, right? 532,000 of funds that Mamdani raised in the last 5 weeks, they came from outside New York City. There are external forces that want this guy to win.
Yeah, and I'm tired of seeing people saying, "Oh, it's just New York City. If you don't live here, don't worry about it." No. Because this evidence shows that this is not just one city. This is an agenda to turn many cities, and they're starting with number one.
Exactly. And that's a very important point. I think that New Yorkers, if they vote for this still at a certain point, are accountable for it. They get what they vote for and deserve, but they are being misguided. Mamdani, by the way, was hit with 2 criminal referrals for allegedly, because I hear he's litigious, accepting foreign donations. So there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. That's a stark contrast from America First, to be clear, and it's where a lot of those on the left sort of line up with libertarians. The criminal industrial complex. I agree. No one should be behind bars for life for smoking a joint. That doesn't happen. I think someone should be behind bars I think lock them up, throw away the key if they kill somebody. I actually think they should be executed. Right?
I think if you try to steal someone's car and then they try to stop you and then you beat the crap out of them, maybe you should get more than probation.
Yeah, yes. And I don't think it's
like
that
those guys in
extreme.
DC who beat up big balls.
Yes, exactly right. Is this more, comment below, is this more extreme? I think we need to do away with all police budgets. We need to bring it down to 0. Okay, that's their position. I'm going to take the most extreme one possible. Bring back the oublies. Let's do that. Let me know what you think. I know some people are going, what's an oubliette? Look it up. If you can also go watch Labyrinth with Bowie, and you'll understand it as well.
No thanks.
Hoggle explains it fantastically.
You know what this feels like? It feels like a prequel to a Batman series.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
this is how Gotham became Gotham.
Exactly. You elected a Muslim mayor and a socialist. But people may want to go like, oh, well, that's just the DSA. Well, the DSA's backed him, so he's inexorably tied to them. Oh, that's just an older video. Okay, yeah. Remember the undercover footage that we got of one of his high-up campaign guys saying, oh, you're a police officer, you don't have an opinion? We know how they view cops, period. This is coming.
Yep.
In Mamdani's New York, this is on the way. And I saw Governor DeSantis of Florida basically said we have a $5,000 recruitment bonus for cops who don't want to serve under Mamdani to move down to Florida and serve down here.
Great.
Good luck, New York.
And by the way, it's not just their view of cops, because I will tell you there are plenty of bad cops out there. I've been very clear about that.
Yeah.
It's how they view the idea
Right.
of a police force. They couldn't be more wrong about the role of government. Military? No. Police force? No. Coca-Cola on Snap? It's a human right.
Well, at that point, you have to give them Coca-Cola on Snap, because if you don't, well, then you have no police to control them when they just take it and do what they want.
When they take
tear
it
up stores and
bring their cousin to
ruin
beat you
society.
up. Oh, you're still here, which is a miracle in the age of Instagram and shorts. I think you have some shorts up there. You have an attention span that is longer than that of a fruit gnat. So thank you. I'm glad you probably would like it a lot more if you actually head over and subscribe on Rumble. I'm live there 5 days a week, 11 a.m. Eastern, where free speech is still alive. Go to Rumble. Get off the social media ghetto that is YouTube, with a lot of homosexual activity here on YouTube. There may be some on Rumble, but I haven't seen it.